All right, what's up, everybody? Good to see everybody logging in. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Quickstart webinar. Noah Harris here. If this is your first time tuning in, you're in the right place. I got my co-pilot here, Joseph. Joseph is a part of the PMC team. You might see that lengthy text in the text box there. Joseph is here to answer any questions that you might have. I do my absolute best to answer questions, but sometimes the chat box gets rolling and I miss them. If that's the case, Joseph's there to help answer questions, logistics, how to enroll in a class or take advantage of PMC, things like this. He's here to help us. Glad to have you, Joseph. What's up, Shane? All right, cool. Here we go. Let's dive into it. It's 1 o'clock. So anytime I teach a webinar, anytime I teach a live class, tonight I'm going to a networking event. I'm gonna be a guest speaker up in Charlotte. So if anyone that's in the Charlotte or Belmont, North Carolina area, I'll have to give you the address of the meetup or whatever, but it's gonna be a fun time. We're gonna be learning. I'm gonna be teaching about private money lending, and even there, I'm gonna show this slide. I'm gonna talk about the risks. So if you've seen me teach before, you know I'm big on risks. I'm a true believer that if you want to be great at borrowing money, it's good to understand what the risks are, how to prepare, how to have a good plan in place, how to have some safety nets in place so that we can minimize those as much as possible. And if you're lending money, holy cow, you got to know what the risks are, right? Investing in real estate is risky. No piece of real estate is the same. No deal is ever the same. So it's important that you educate yourself and surround yourself with licensed business professionals that can help you get the job done. That's a big thing that we always talk about every single week. We'll talk about that here this week as well. But if you're not talking about the risk, I feel like you're missing out on an opportunity. If you're a borrower, we should be addressing the risks, what could go wrong, so that we can gain credibility with our lenders. And lenders, if you're on the call right now and you're interviewing people, I hope you're asking them what the risks are. I hope you're asking them, hey, what could go wrong? What's one or two things that you would deem the most risky about this deal here, right? And see what they say. Hopefully they've thought things through and they have plans in place to address anything that might go sideways, right? And so these are things that we talk about on this call, how to just be better, best practices, fundamentals of private money lending. Where else can a person put money to work and earn a nice double-digit rate of return and have it secured by real estate? And at the same time, where else can a person get all the money that they need to purchase a property, to fund the renovation costs, and fix and flip a property without having to use any of their own money to do it, right? That's what the idea here is with the private money club, right? So do you ever do networking in Florida? I don't, but I recommend, the private money club has events, and sometimes they have events in Florida. They did one in Orlando not too long ago. We've got a big event coming up, Tracy, in Dallas. I believe it's in May 8th and 9th. It's called the Money Tank, which is kind of like the big flagship event that Private Money Club does. But yeah, just got to stay plugged in, right? And if you're down in Palm Bay, I would recommend meeting real estate investors in your neighborhood, in your area, in addition to those in private money club, because it is nice to be able to get in your car and drive over and check out the projects that you're funding, so on and so forth, right? And to meet people in your area, which is cool. All right, so here's the game plan. Those of you hopping on here for the first time, we always start on time. We keep it real estate. Participation is encouraged. If you have any questions, feel free to ask the questions in the question section. It's at the top of your Zoom web browser there. You can put them in the chat, but I might miss them. I got Joseph here to help me out if we miss any questions. If you have any questions about taking a class, enrolling in Private Money Club, or anything like that, Joseph is definitely the guy for you to assist you. All experience levels are welcome on this call. Is there anyone who's like brand new to real estate or maybe brand new to lending? Whatever brought you here, it's new to you. Just type it in the chat box. I'm curious. I love helping new people in this business, right? Because I wish I knew what I knew today back when I first got started. I wish I knew the importance of having private money lenders to go to, and having a Rolodex of private money lenders that I could pick up the phone and call if I needed funding for a deal. Back when I first got started investing in real estate, it was like, oh, private money wasn't something that we did. We always go to like a hard money lender to fund our deals, right? So all right, cool. So we've got some newer folks here, which is awesome to see. New to lending, but not necessarily real estate. I love it. Brand new to this type of lending. Cool. I'm a new private money broker. Okay. Donald says brand new, right? Any brand new real estate investors? So I see lots of people who are new to the idea of, hey, I can be the bank. I could lend the money, right? Any new real estate investors here on the call? all experience levels are welcome. And I think one of the things that you'll see in Private Money Club is there's people in Private Money Club who are very well versed, very experienced, been doing this a very, very, very long time. And we got folks that are brand new. So I know my experienced people are rooting for those just getting started. And I tell you what, if you're just getting started, it's good to learn from those who have done it before, so you can follow the successes and avoid some of the hurdles and pitfalls that they might have gone through. What's up, John? Good to see you. All right, cool. So all experience levels are welcome. If you're just tuning in for the first time, Coach Noah here. I live in Columbia, South Carolina. Most of my business is 30 minutes from my house. I'm a big believer in being able to get in your car and being able to check on your projects, inspect what you expect, things like this. The goal for everyone that's on the call here is this. It's a 100% track record. That's what we would love to see, right? If you're a borrower, gosh, I would love nothing more to run into you one day and say, hey, 100% track record with my private money lenders. That's amazing. That's what it's all about. If you're a lender, hopefully you learn a few things here on this call here, or through our accelerator coaching program, or at a money tank event or something like that, that has helped save you from making bad decisions, something that you've implemented into your lending business that's helped you not only build that 100% track record, but maybe make a little bit more money too. Wouldn't that be cool? Right? How to negotiate rates higher and things like this. So 100% track record, that's what it's all about. This is relationship based. Okay. So Private Money Club, relationship based. Now, as lenders, you're still going to look at the asset though. Okay. So like, don't let the borrower just paint you a beautiful picture in your head of what it's going to be looking like to work with them. You still have to look at what the project is, what the asset is, what the house looks like that's being flipped. And you got to ask yourself, okay, if I lend here, is the value of the collateral, the value of the real estate up here? That's what makes private money lending so great. So yes, it's relationship based, but hopefully these calls, you can learn some things to help underwrite your own deals and make better decisions on the projects that you're funding. All right. And if you're with me, give me a big, oh yeah, we just had a bunch of people log in. So it looks like we're up to 71 people on the call. Love to see it. Love to see it. And this is relationship based. Okay. What does that mean? So I had someone, and I've talked about this last couple of calls, but I'm going to talk about it again because I think this is really good. And anytime I see that there's new people on the call, I feel like I got to give you this information. I gotta help you here, right? I don't want to just assume that you know something, or that you watched a recording or something like that from the past show. So I like to look at this as a numbers game. Okay. Same thing like with lending. So I'll probably log into Private Money Club and kind of show you the platform and things like this, and how to leverage it, and how to, some of the secrets and things that I use in there to build good relationships. But it's a numbers game. I had someone come up to me a few weeks ago and they said, hey, I'm having a hard time finding someone to lend to, or I'm having a hard time finding a lender in Private Money Club. Like, nobody's messaging me about my deal. And the question that I asked them is, well, how many conversations have you had? How many meetings have you had, whether it's in person, virtual, or just even email correspondence? Like, what does that look like? And they said, well, not really, one or two or whatever. And I said, that's the problem, right? So this is relationship based. So Private Money Club, the platform, is very much like a dating site for people with money and people who need money, borrowers and lenders, right? So, but in order to find that one, you got to go on some dates, don't you? You got to test the waters, right? So it's the same thing. So for my real estate investors, how many of you are on here right now are investing in real estate? Just type me in the chat box. Say me, investor. How many of you are currently investing in real estate? All right, cool. Well, Chris Stokes is on here. I love it. Hey, Anna. All right, Hazel Anna's on the call. Love it. Steve, Frenchie. Okay, cool. So let me ask you a question. So for all of you who are currently investing in real estate, how many offers do you need to make in order to get your first, like, in order to get a deal accepted, right? Do you track that? Do you have like a KPI? Do you kind of like, do you know, hey, I have to make this many offers typically before I find my needle in the haystack, my diamond in the rough, right? All right. So, all right. Big spectrum here. I love it. So Faithful says 100. Peter says 4-1, right? Maybe 4 offers for every one deal, right? I love it. I love it. Pete, I see your question. I'm going to answer it here in a minute. All right. All right, cool. So Chris Stokes, how many offers do you have to make before you get your one? What's your thought process going into this stuff, right? So I'm kind of with Faithful on this. Faithful says that they got to make 100 offers before they get their one. Like, that's the mindset. All right. Now, someone like Peter who says, hey, for every 4 offers, I get a deal. Maybe Peter's got a real dialed in niche. Maybe he's focusing on like probates or something like that. Or he's got a really good lead generation source, so because remember, if all of your offers are getting accepted, you've paid too much. Is that what they say? Right. So you want to make sure. And so I'm cut from the same cloth as Faithful there. 100 offers is my mindset. So if we take that same mindset and we transition it over into lenders, it's the same thing. So what I'm telling my students in the accelerator program is this: hey, you have to have 20 conversations at least before you find your golden goose. All right. Don't just go on one date. Don't just message one person and then you're married. Okay. That's not how it works. You want to have some conversations, set up some Zoom calls. Interviews is what I call them. How many people are you interviewing? So for my lenders on the call, hop in Private Money Club. Don't just click just because there's a deal posted doesn't mean that's your deal, right? Let's schedule a time to talk with the owner of that deal, the owner of that company, hear about their business model, hear about their plan for this project, right? And, ask them good questions and see, okay, is this someone who kind of checks some of the boxes that I'm looking for, right? So there's lots of people in the club, but if you're not out there talking to one another, what are we doing? Right? What are we doing? Chris says I have a good niche, mobile homes. All right, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, exit strategy is important too. Absolutely, right? What's cool is I was interviewing a bunch of different lenders this week. I've got a big deal that we just got funded before hopping on this call. So woohoo, we're celebrating. This was a big project for my market anyways. I live in Columbia, South Carolina. The medium home price is right around 200, 250 to 300. That's usually our range. This was a bigger project at right around $900,000, but we got it funded, right? So from the time we started, I posted the deal in Private Money Club. I had a lot of people reach out through Private Money Club. I messaged all my lenders who I've worked with in the past, I've met through PMC, and other people outside of PMC, and we were able to get the deal 100% funded with private lending, right? So, but here's what I'm gonna tell you guys. What do you think of? So for everyone that's new on the call, what do you think of when you hear the term private lender? What do you think of? Because the person that we're funding this deal with, the deal that I just got under contract and our next big project I just spoke on, one of the lenders, there's 2 people. I have one person who's funding the purchase price and one person who's funding the repair cost. The person who is funding the repair cost has never done this before. So this is a brand new idea, brand new concept to them. So we have to remember, whether they're in PMC or out of PMC, it's really important that the folks that you're talking to, they have the mindset that I can be a lender. And I think once you help educate people around the topic of private money lending and you show people that, hey, anyone can be a private money lender. It doesn't have to be someone who's a multimillionaire. It doesn't, anyone can do this. That's when the light switches, right? And in people's minds, the light bulbs go off and it's like, oh, wow, I could do this, right? I'm a big believer that every single person that I run into could be a private money lender today, or they could be a private money lender with us in the future. How you explain the experience that you give them, the education that you're providing them is going to stick if done correctly, right? And so let's look at the chat box here. What do you think of when you hear private lender? Nikita says less ropes to jump through. Could be easier to work with. Exit strategy is important. Yeah, congratulations on getting. Thanks, Angie. Appreciate it. Yeah, so lots of times we got to remember private money lending when it comes to PMC and Private Money Club is all about people. It's about people. So if you're having a conversation with someone, hey, have you ever thought about being a private lender? They're going to be like, I'm not really sure what that is. What are they going to do? They're going to go to Google, right? So, and if we went to Google right now and we just typed in private money lender, what's going to happen is there's going to be tons of search results that pop up, but lots of those search results are going to be companies, they're going to be institutions, they're going to be funds, things like this. It's just, they're not traditional lenders, right? Like a Bank of America, Wells Fargo or whatever, right? So they have less boxes to check, or as our friend Nikita says, less ropes to jump through, right? So while that might be private lending, when we think of private lender on this webinar and with the platform of Private Money Club, we're thinking people. All right. And if you can get really good at talking to folks that you know are about to retire, that you know just inherited funds and they're trying to be smart with it, or you know, people that have an IRA and they're not really happy with the stock market. I was on a call this week and I could tell the person that I was on the call with was super distracted because he's looking at his computer because he's watching the stock market. He's like freaking out. I said, well, why are you so excited about private money lending? He's like, well, look, do you see what's going on right now? And what's crazy is the more insane the world is out there, like the stock market and all this stuff, the better it is in here. And I think that right now is probably one of the absolute best times to be having these conversations with borrowers and lenders to find some sort of alternative for people to make money with their money, right? So let's see what we're working with here. This is my favorite part of the webinar. We're going to dive into some education, some teaching, and I'll show you what's going on in the Private Money Club platform this week. But this is fun. This is a little roll call here. So if you are a lender and you love the idea of putting your money to work and having it secured by real estate that's hopefully worth much more, type lender in the chat box. Let's see where my lenders are at. Let's see where my lenders are at. All right, boom, boom. Here they come. All right, cool. Wow, look at all these people. All right, lender, lender, lender. Lender, lender, lender. Okay, cool. I love it. I love it. It's coming in. So they do exist. This always makes me laugh a little bit. You guys are out there, right? Because you understand that this is an option. Like it's so interesting to me. My wife went to a meeting yesterday. Not a meeting. It was a group of her girlfriends. They're all in real estate. They play games. They hang out. They drink wine, and they have a good time. So she went to her meeting. And you're talking to people, and a lot of them are real estate investors. So she's asking, hey, how do you fund your deals? Do you fund with hard money? Do you use private money? And there were some people that were like, hey, you know what? I've never really used private money lending before. Some did, but some were new to that idea. And when an idea is new, it's like, gosh, who are these people? Who do you even know that does this type of thing? And it's like, we got to get in the Private Money Club. Noah will show you in the first 20 minutes, 20 different people that are raising their hand saying, I'm a lender, right? And that's what we just did right there. So now here's another fun part. If you are a borrower, type borrower in the chat box. Type borrower in the chat box. I love it. Eric says borrower now, and the goal is to be a lender. Yeah, that's cool. I love it. There's different types of income. We talked a little bit about this last week, right? There's the active income, passive income, interest income. And for a real estate investor, lots of times when we first get started in the real estate investing business, we're looking for that active income. We're looking for the larger chunks of cash, the fix and flips, the wholesales, things like this. And then we want to transition those chunks of cash into something that's going to help us make more money, right? And passive and active income stream or interest income streams, right? For some people out there, maybe your active income is your job. Maybe you have a great job, you make good money, you get the paycheck, you have good clients. That's your chunk. Those are your chunky checks, right? And now you're doing the same thing that we're doing, where you're just not a house flipper, right? You have a different type of career. Now you're putting it into something that's active or interest income to help you make more money with your money. So it's cool to see lots of different people in here, and a lot of people are both. Lots of people come in and say, hey, I'm into real estate. I love the idea of fixing and flipping, but I'm retired from a previous job. I have my 401k. I'm going to roll it over into something that will allow me to make money with my money. Maybe you lend with your retirement, but you borrow private money for your own real estate deals, which is super cool too. So I love to see it. Lots of networking happening in the chat box. So there we are. Borrowers, lenders, borrowers, lenders. That's just a taste. That's just a taste. Is there anyone here who is like has a deal, or you think you probably will have a deal in the next, let's just say 30 days? Is that anybody on here? Like, hey, I need funding. I've got a property under contract. I need a plan. I'm on here because this is the Private Money Club and I need private money. Okay, cool. Anna says yes. All right. I love it. Eric's got a project in Seattle. All right, cool. I love it. Love it. Love it. Peter says yes. So these are some, I have a deal. I need funding. All right, cool. So this is, what if I told you Private Money Club needs good deals? What if I told you Private Money Club needs great borrowers? There's a need. There's a need. But just because, well, now look, I'm going to pump the brakes. Okay. Like, I know some of you are like, I'm a borrower, I'm a lender. There's more to it than just like messaging each other, right? Or saying, here's my phone number, give me a call. There's still an underwriting process that a lender, whether you're private or not, you still need to ask the right questions to make sure you keep your money safe. And there's things that borrowers need to do to present deals a certain way and things like this. And yeah, thanks, Joseph. Joseph just put a text in the chat box there. I'm going to show them right now, actually, Joseph, a little bit about what's happening with Private Money Club. So here's what I would do if I needed funding right now, and this is the same exact thing that I did last week when I needed funding for our latest project. Okay, these are the 4 things that I would do. Okay, so if you're brand new to Private Money Club, even if you're not brand new, if you've been on this call a bunch and you have a profile already set up and you say, I need funding, I want you to go back and I want you to revisit all of these things, because this isn't a one and done type of thing. This should be something that is your daily or your weekly routine. Okay, so let's start calling it that. Your weekly routine. If I had a deal that needed funding, this is what I would do to help me get in front of as many people as possible who might be interested in funding it. All right. Number 1, I would create a profile. Now I'm going to show you how to do all this stuff. Okay. I'll pull up my Private Money Club profile and I'll show you what I do and things like this. So number 1, I would create a profile. Every single person on this call should have a Private Money Club profile. You can create a Private Money Club profile for free. There is also a Premier membership available as well. If you're a Premier membership, there's some benefits. I'll talk to you a little bit about what those are. But everyone on here should have it. If you have a deal, you should create a free profile. There's no, if you're serious about it, that's like step 1, no brainer, right? No brainer. Step number 2, if you are a Premier member, every single Monday, Private Money Club does a webinar where people come on. The one I was on last week, it had like 70 people on it. Actually, I think it was more than that. It was like started out like 87. By the end of the hour-long webinar, there's about 70 some people. And you can present your opportunity to the community. And that they can ask questions. You can pull up PowerPoint slides. You can, hey, here's the project. Here's what we got going on. And it's a beautiful thing. It works. It gets you exposure, right? It gets recorded, then send out to all of the members, so on and so forth. Okay. The other thing, if you have a deal, you got to post it. Post it in the Private Money Club platform. Free members can post 1 deal. I think, Joseph, is that right? If you have a free membership, you can still post a deal. If you have a Premier membership, you can post multiple deals, right? I'll show you a little bit about that, but you got to post a deal. And then the other thing that I would do is, to make sure I'm doing things the right way, I would schedule what's called a blueprint call with a Private Money Club team member. All right. So I'm going to ask Joseph one more time to put that up in the chat box there. There's a link and it says like blueprint at the end. Click that link, schedule a call, and they can show you how to, kind of navigate you around, like give you a tour, show you how to use it to its highest ability. Right. All right, cool. Thank you. Yes. Free members can post 1 deal, paid members up to 3. All right, cool. Love it. Love it. Love it. So I'm going to stop the share here. Actually, I'm not going to stop the share. I'm going to switch this over and I'll show you what's happening in Private Money Club today. This has been something fun that we've been doing. All right, here we go. All right, let's start with the community. I'm going to pull it up. And so part of your weekly routine, I would put to visit Private Money Club, check out my profiles. I'd be making posts. I'd be commenting. I'd be joining groups. I'd be getting my deal out there and getting as many eyes on the project as possible. So can you guys see my screen? Just say, oh yeah, if you can see my screen. Let me know everything's working for you guys. Okay, cool. So, all right. So this is kind of like, the community page here. It's a lot like, social media vibes to it. There's different groups and things like that you can join, but this is like, the feed, right? Anytime someone makes a post, the feed, what I would do if I had a deal, I would come in here, I'd go create post, and I would put a picture of my project so that when someone logs in for the first time, boom, it's right there. It's in the feed, just like on like very similar to like what would be like Facebook or something along those lines. Next thing I would do is I would come over and I would put it in the deals section. Okay, so you can see active deals currently. And what I would do is I'd come over and I'd click post deal, boom. And what you do is you just bring it, you type in the address, fill out the rest of these fonts. It literally takes 5 minutes, if maybe even less than that, to get your deal uploaded to the Private Money Club. All right. Now, if I was a lender, and you wanted to kind of look at different deals. And again, here's my advice to lenders. It's not as much about the deal as it is about just making the connections with people. All right. So the more relationships you have, the more you're building up your, I don't like using the word list, but I guess that's what you would call it, your relationships of people that you are comfortable doing business with, right? So if I was a lender, like I'm going to come over here, this one's in my hometown. So I'm going to click this one, and I'm familiar with Steve Conti. I just, so you know, like I know him. I would consider Steve to be a friend of mine, but he's got a deal in Private Money Club. I probably introduced him to PMC. Now Steve is a premier member, so like these little orange badges, you see it's popping up here. That means that he's a premier member, right? So there's some different coaching and things like that that Steve gets. So he's got his house here, a description about the property, some of the financials, the loan amount 150, final after repair value is 200. That's a nice little 75% loan to value. A smaller house, smaller project, and it's got the map in there. So if you're unfamiliar with the area, you can kind of check it out. You click on the map, there's the home, right? I imagine I could come down here to Street View and I could take a little walk around, make sure it's not, make sure it's a nice neighborhood, at least from the Google Maps perspective or whatever, right? So, and if Steve had like surveys, inspections, and things like that, he could attach it to this profile here so that you can check it out. And then if I was interested, I'd come over here, I'd hit I'm interested, and I'd send Steve a message, right? And then he'll be notified of that. If there's any changes, I can subscribe to this deal, which is cool. And then I also want to look at their profiles. So I'd come over here, I'd click on the profile. Now, when you go to create your profile, it's really, really, really important that you put pictures up. Okay. So like, even if you have a free membership, if you have a free membership and you want to get like the best experience possible, make sure you add your picture. Because if you don't have a picture, your profile isn't really filled out that well, and you have a deal that you posted, I don't know if anyone's going to click on it. Honestly, I don't know. Even if they click on it, they're going to go to your profile. And if your profile is like half-assed filled out, sorry for the language, people might not take you seriously. Right. So you want to use your whole ass, not no half-assing. Okay. What's cool about Steve is you can see he's a premier member with his little orange badge there. Right. So I'll share with you some tips, and here's some things that, okay. Yeah. Send link to create the profile. So Joseph, just send Nikita the link, and then I think you could just go to privatemoneyclub.com and kind of go through it. If you don't have an account already, it'll ask you to create one, right? So it's pretty easy, right? Cool. Yeah. Thank you. Beautiful. Share Andrew Garcia's profile. Let me see if I can do that. I'll pull that up, Andrew. No problem. And then so if I pulled up mine, just to give you some ideas how I filled mine out. Number one, that got the pictures there. Now, Peter was asking, Pete, you still on the call here? Right? Pete, you still on the call? Pete was asking, hey, I've got 20,000 points. What do I do with these points? Okay, so what I would do when you're a premier member, they give you points and you can take different classes. So what I would do, Pete, since I think you're a lender, I would come over to the lender class, click on that. Being that I already took it, I kind of already like paid for it, but there's like this point system that they do. So you can see this one's 10,000 points. This one's 10,000 points. The tools are free. So if you have 20,000 points, Pete, you can take these two classes. And then when you take these two classes, what happens is in your profile, you get these nice little badges here showing that you've taken the classes. So what's cool about this, you guys, is in PMC, you kind of stand out a little bit more. You're a premier member, you're a certified borrower, you take the certified lender class as well. You kind of stand out a little bit. So that's why for my people who are creating their profiles for free, make sure you fill everything out as best you can. And when you're ready to leapfrog and have a premier membership and really jump into it, make sure you're taking those classes to help your profile stand out. And you want to learn this stuff too, right? You want to show that we're educated. We want to show that we take this business seriously. And you invested a few hours to take that online course to be a better borrower, to be a better lender. One of the things that I did in my profile here is I filled out these pictures here with past projects. So you can share, you can say, hey, here's some of our past projects. My wife and I do a lot of manufactured homes. And so we have a couple of pictures of manufactured homes here for people to check out. Cause sometimes people are like, you do a manufactured home? Like, what's that like? And you can show them, hey, it's beautiful. Check out my PMC profile. I got some pictures posted there. I have a slide, kind of like a meet the team, a little bit about my marketplace and things like this. And then, little things down here, like it's really important when you fill this out, talk about your business model, talk about the types of loans that you do. What is it going to look like to work with you typically? Those things are really important. And what we're doing here, you guys, this is a good coaching point here. Okay. This is a really good coaching point. When you're building your profile and you're having conversations and you're, talking to people, the whole point of all of this is to schedule a meeting. All right. Like no one should come to my profile and be like, wow, I'm really impressed. Like, let me get my checkbook out. Do I make the check out to you? Like, that's not how it works. All right. How it works is wow, this person has it together. This person has a good business plan. Their loan amounts are similar to the types of loan opportunities that I could fund. Let's schedule a call. Let's start the relationship, right? And see where it goes from there. Okay. Again, how many conversations are you having with people to find your right borrowers and your right lenders, right? So let's go to members. Let's look up Andrew. Let's see. Andrew Garcia. Let's see. Or is it under Drew? Is it under Drew or Andrew? Andrew? Type it in the chat box here. Let me see. I'm trying to find you. But you can see that you can search for whatever you're looking for, right? Different loan amounts, people, things like this, right? So that's cool. And then also in the learning section here, we have a whole tools section where you can learn how to really put together a good loan proposal and things like this, right? So that's what's popping here in Private Money Club, you guys. Let me go back to the slides here and we'll practice some elevator pitches and go from there. So here's the steps. If I were to give you any action steps, here they are. Number one, create a profile. If it's not a free profile, or if it's not a premier membership, start with the free membership and go from there. See where it takes you. If you're picking up the vibe, you like the community, things like this, it's really not too expensive to become a premier member. I was looking at, just to kind of put this into perspective. So the deal that we just funded, or we close on it next month, April 1st, but we just got the money lined up. Private money. It was a larger amount, and I have a handful of lenders who are comfortable doing like the 500 or above type of loans. Like I said, most of the time in my marketplace in Columbia, South Carolina, it's like 200, 300, or 100,000 less, right? So I have a handful of people, but they all had money out in different projects. And so I was like, all right, well, you know what? Let me just see like what the hard money lending route would look like. Because hard money lenders, gosh, I'm sure they would love to fund a $900,000 loan, right? And what was crazy were the amount of fees. It was insane. With my private money lenders, I'm paying 10%, no points. Now, that's not going to be everybody, okay? Like I know some lenders in here are like, "Hey, Noah, be quiet. Like I want to charge points. I want to make 12%. I want to make 14%." And there's lots of people in there, and I would probably do that for the right deal as well. For this particular project, we were trying to get 10 and we got 10, no points. If I were to go to the hard money lending route, it would be 1.5% in origination fees plus all of these $600 admin fees and different things like that. So, and then there was a $5,000 fee. I don't even know, just doing business. I don't even know what it was. It was just on the estimate is it wasn't even really labeled. I was like, what is this? It was close to $20,000. So if you do 2 or 3 of those, every single types of deals every single year, it could be almost 6 figures in fees going to the hard money lender. I suppose that's what makes things attractive for the lenders that are on this call, right? But hopefully you can find the median where it's like a win-win for both parties. But I was like, gosh, I value my private money lender relationship so much. So what's crazy is for a couple $100 a month, a premier membership to make connections where you can use private money seems absolutely like a drop in the bucket compared to what I would have to pay if I was using hard money lending. Right. I'm grateful for my hard money lenders. I would not be here today if they didn't help me get started in this business. But if you're on the call right now, and I know there's a lot of new people on this call, my advice to you would be build those relationships up with the hard money lenders. And while you're doing that and using them to fund your deals, you're still having conversations with people that could potentially be your private money lenders. So at one point, hopefully there's this transition where you go from using mostly hard money to mostly using private money, the more people that you meet, right? That's kind of like the natural progression that I've seen over the years with like a lot of real estate investors. All right, cool. Money Tank event coming up. Got to make the announcement. If you haven't been, Money Tank is the absolute best live event that a Private Money Club does. This is the flagship program. We have discount codes to the event. It's going to be happening in Dallas, Texas, May 8th and 9th. And I don't know, can you put the link in there, Joseph, so people can go and check it out? If you're a Premier member, it's $500 off. If on VIP tickets, if you're a Premier member, I think it's $200 off general admission tickets. So the team has a bunch of promo codes if you want to grab tickets. But gosh, if you are in Dallas, you need to be there. But I like that it's in Dallas because I pretty much anywhere in the US you can hop on a plane and nonstop flight to Dallas. So we're going to be there. My wife, Christy, and I are going to be there. I know a lot of other folks on this call. I see your names are going to be there as well. So keep an eye out for that. All right, cool. Let's dive into some education. So we're building on this over the last couple of weeks. We have talked about how to present your deals, what should, when someone messages you, right? If I were to message Steve Conti and I said, hey, Steve, what's up, man? I'd like to learn more about your project that you posted on the Private Money Club platform. Hopefully Steve says, no problem. I've got a nice little PowerPoint presentation put together. I shared it on Money Club Monday, but I'd be glad to go through it with you too. What does that look like, right? There's no like standard in Private Money Club. Like they don't say, hey, this is what it should look like. That's really up to you, the member. But hopefully you're putting your best foot forward and you're presenting a deal that really makes sense. So, and I've started to see this Money Club Mondays. I've seen more and more people use this framework, which is awesome to see, right? So meet the team, market overview, information about the deal, why you chose that deal, information about the neighborhood, information about the house itself, what adds value to this property, pictures of the property, comparable sales. What's your exit strategy? Let's talk about your plan that you have in place for the project. Then we get into the numbers, right? What's the loan opportunity? What's the interest rate? How are you securing a person's funds? Is there collateral? Are you using a mortgage, a promissory note, things like this, right? How does someone get a hold of you when they're ready to, if they want to learn more, right? What's the call to action? So we've been talking about this. We've also been talking about credibility, and I've hit this a bunch of times. I'm going to keep hitting it because again, there's people on this call who are new, and I know that this is a huge step, and I hate for someone not to take this step, right? So if you're brand new to real estate, or brand new to Private Money Club, or brand new to the person that you're talking to, we have to work on our credibility. We have to build ourselves up as someone who someone can lend money to, and we can get them through the trenches. We can finish that project and get their funds back to them, right? So how do you build credibility? Whether you're brand new or not, one of the biggest and best ways to build credibility quickly is to surround yourself with licensed business professionals. In other words, what does your team look like? I was talking to someone this week, and they were new to real estate, and they're like, what should be my first step? I said, look, before you start going and having conversations with people, you got to figure out who's going to be your real estate attorney that's going to do your closings and maybe draft the documents. Who's going to be the title company, right? Who's going to be your real estate agent, your general contractor? Who's going to be your home inspector? Who's going to be, what insurance company are you going to use? So on and so forth. He's like, wow, I didn't even think about that stuff. I could go, look, sometimes people get so caught up in, I got to get the money, that they forget about all of this. And then when someone says, yeah, I'll give you the deal, they close on the property, and then the property sits there for 3 months because they don't have the general contractor figured out yet. They don't have their people in place, right? They don't have their team. They didn't have a real estate agent telling them, yeah, this could be a good deal, or this is a crappy deal. They didn't have anybody advising them. So before you go out and start having conversations, go find the best of the best. And this cannot be someone that is like a mid-level, lower level in their profession. This has to be the best of the best. You're trying to establish credibility, so you got to ride the coattails of your team. So when I first got started using private lenders, I went out and I found the best real estate attorney I could find. I worked with the best top 1% real estate agent in the neighborhood where I wanted to flip houses. I found a general contractor who had good reviews online, good track record, good referrals. Had a clean job sites, came highly recommended. Home inspector that was very nitpicky, found everything wrong with the properties, so on and so forth. And the whole point of doing this up front is so that I could go to a private lender and say, and if they ask me, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when someone asks you, hey, how many deals have you done? How many have you done? Right? As you should, lenders, hopefully you're asking these questions. How many deals have you done? Tell me about that. Give me the last 10 addresses. You can say, hey, look, I might be brand new to real estate. I come from a background and a career in this field here. However, before even having this conversation with you, Mr. and Mrs. Lender, I went out and I got a real estate attorney who's been in business 20 years. I've got a top 1% real estate agent in the neighborhood. We're going to be buying houses. I've got a general contractor who's got great reviews on Google, came highly recommended. I got a home inspector, da, da, da. And so I might be brand new. However, my team has over 100 years of real estate investing experience, right? So this is really important for anyone that wants to even have a shot at being successful. You got to surround yourself with the right people, right? Cool. Joseph said, yeah, there's a $300 discount code for Money Tank VIP, $300. Cool. $300 discount code. Do you know what the code is, Joseph? Can you put the codes in the chat box for people? If they want to go there and pick up a ticket, they can go ahead and do that. Right? I love it. I love it. And then we talked about the perfect loan proposal. This is a tool in Private Money Club. So there's actually a template where you can download it, create your own, right? You switch out Chris Naugle's information with your information. And now you have something that you can actually hand to somebody that or email that might be interested in funding your deals. Right? So again, this is just another beautiful credibility piece. So what I would do, you guys, if many of you on here said, hey, I have a need for funding. Okay, great. Create your profile for free, or just go ahead and do a premier membership, take the classes, get the badges, build out your profile, get your picture up there. This doesn't take too long to do these things, right? But do it right. Take the time, do it right. And then I would start building out your team. If you're already investing in real estate, maybe you have these people on here. Cool. I would like write it out. I'd write it out. I got a whiteboard right here in front of me. I'd write out my team, real estate attorney, this person, this person, this person. And I would practice being able to rattle off everyone that's on my team, right? Get these people in play and in place. And then I would come into Private Money Club and I would download the perfect loan proposal and start putting that together. So when you have good conversations with someone, if I had posted a deal and I had a lender message me and they're like, wow, I went through your profile, I saw your deal, I'm interested in learning more about you. Boom, I can send this over to them. I can say, great, how's Friday morning sound? 10 a.m. Would you like to hop on a Zoom call or a phone call? Yeah, that'd be awesome. Okay, great. What's your email? In the meantime, I'm going to send you what you could call a perfect loan proposal. I call it a private lender information packet or something along those lines. I'm going to send you something and then you can read up on it. Right. So credibility, credibility, credibility. And the difference when I see people on PMC and they're like, my deals aren't getting funded. You're not having enough conversations, right? Just brutal truth, right? Yeah. Being really, very, very real. Either you're not having enough conversations, you're not meeting people, you don't have this put together, your presentation slides stink, or it's just not a good deal. Right. And maybe that might seem overwhelming because I just rattled off like 5 things. But if you start with one, you guys just start with the profile, fill it out, make it good. Get your deal up there, get it posted, have lots of details, have lots of pictures. If you have a home inspection, attach it, right? Any information you can put about your deal, put it in there. Great. Get your slides going, share on Money Club Mondays, present your opportunity to the masses while you're waiting for people to message you and contact you. Get the perfect loan proposal filled out so you can have something to send to someone, right? And I know this might seem like a lot, but if you want help with this, I got a slide here. Yeah, okay, it's next. So we just started this class. We have, I think, 19 students enrolled currently. Last time I knew how many there were. So there might be room for one more unless someone rescheduled or something like that. But I teach a class. It's called the Accelerator Coaching Program. And it is for borrowers and lenders of the Private Money Club, and really how to use and leverage it. So if you're on here and you're like, man, I really want to expedite my growth, I want to collapse the time frame. That's why it's called the accelerator. So, you can log on to these webinars every week for the next 52 weeks and learn this stuff. But if you're like, hey, I want to really dive into it quicker, maybe the accelerator coaching program is something that you want to do. This is through Private Money Club. It's a class that I teach for them. The next class starts March 10th. And we do limit the class size because it's 4 weeks of Zoom calls and then 4 weeks of hopping on my calendar if you want help one-on-one, like looking at deals and things like this, right? So if you are interested in that, yeah, thanks, Joseph, for posting that there. You can text or call Joseph and he can get you the enrollment link to that. Or you can, most importantly, you guys, I'd probably schedule a blueprint phone call with someone from the PMC team if you're thinking about wanting some help and putting all of this together. Right. I'm a big believer in it though. Like before, Stephen Nagy and Chris Naugle, they're awesome for doing this and seeing what they've put together and the platform that Chris has created. When Stephen Nagy asked me to teach this class for them, it was really important to me that it actually worked. So, wouldn't you know, right? So actually I was like, well, I like coaching, but I haven't really coached in a long time. I don't really want to just start coaching real estate again for, some company, that's just gonna, I don't know, like guru crap. And he was like, no, it's not like that. It's a platform, borrowers and lenders, check it out. And so I got it. I got access. I created a profile. I did everything and then some that I'm talking about on these webinars here. And in, I want to say 30 to 45 day time frame, I had a couple dozen conversations with really great people. This was my experience. I'm not saying this is going to happen to you, but this is my story. And we hopped on phone calls, maybe a couple of people we did Zoom calls with. And I kind of, tracked those conversations and said, okay, what does this person do? What's their goals? Are they a new lender, current lender? How much do they want to put to work? And it was over $2 million in 30 days that I was able to kind of put into an Excel spreadsheet where if I had a deal, I could see who I would call based on how much they had and things like this, right? So that was my personal story. So I was like, okay, this works. This is a great website. This is a great community. These people, they've built something special here. So that's why I was like, you know what? I will teach the class. Sign me up. I'll do it. Right. So here, what I'm going to recommend is that everyone on this call makes a move. All right. So this is not the, eat a turkey sandwich and listen to Noah talk about private money every Thursday at 12 o'clock or whatever, right? This is about taking action. It's the quick start webinar. So if you're looking to get a quick start, here's some things that I would do. Number one, I would create my profile, create your PMC profile if you haven't done so already. And I would schedule a blueprint call. The link's right there to do that. If you are a Premier member and you haven't taken, I know who you are. I know Premier members. I can see you guys in the thing here. If I went to your profile right now, for all my Premier members, if I went to your profile right now, would you have 2 badges there that say certified lender, certified borrower? Right? Have you taken those classes? Right? Hopefully you have. Like, I think that if you're a Premier member, you can take them for free. All right. It's part of your membership. Okay. So make sure you knock those out. If you haven't taken the accelerator course yet, I would invite you to, if you can get in March 10th, if not, maybe the next one. And I would say the best of the best, get to a live event, get to the Money Tank event, come shake hands with people, come meet people in person. It's in Dallas, Texas, May 8th and 9th. And it's one thing to meet someone on a Zoom call, but it's just so cool to see your names in the webinars and in the chats for like, a couple months in a row, and then actually go there and introduce yourself, shake hands, and look down at a person's name tag and be like, oh my gosh, you're Annette. It's so good to meet you in person or whatever. Right. So that's what I would invite all of you to do. That's the checklist. If you've checked all of these things here, then shout out to you. Shout out to you. Is there anyone that's checked all these boxes? Because you're on point if you have. You're on point if you have. Maybe next week when we come back on, you'll be like, yeah, I got my Money Tank ticket. I taken the accelerator course. My profile is on point, right? And I of course had a blueprint call when I first got started with PMC, right? I love it. What is the total cost for the live event? It depends if you're a Premier member or not. Let me pull it up. I'll pull it up, Isaac. Hold on one second. Maybe you could put the website in, Joseph's. People could go and check it out if they wanted to. Let me see here. Oh yeah, Money Tank event. You guys can see that. Say, oh yeah, in the chat box. Yeah, but reach out to Joseph for the discount codes, because I know for a fact there are discount codes. Joseph, what's the best way for someone to reach out to you to get a promo code for the Money Tank event? Is it a phone number? Is it the website? right? But if you go, I'll put the link here for you guys, and I'll type it in the chat box here for you. Boom. And I do know that if you are comfortable, they do like a Shark Tank style session where you can present deals, which is kind of cool, right? Okay, cool. Yeah. So text Joseph there if you are interested in getting a promo code for the live event. General admissions $697, $200 off, so it'd be $497, like $500. And I think it's $300 off for a VIP ticket, which is good. Not bad, not bad. And then yeah, they do increase the prices over time. All right, cool. Thanks, Joseph. So yeah, we got 10 days before all of that changes. So take action. Take action. Hope to see you guys there. So all right, was this a good session? Did you guys have fun today? Was this good? If you're in Charlotte, I'm gonna be, gosh, what is the name of this place? Let me pull it up. It's gonna be tonight. Is there anyone that's in the Charlotte area that's like, I would love to go to a networking event tonight? If there is, I'll hang out for a little bit. If not, no big deal. But yeah, I'm gonna be up in Charlotte tonight at a real estate investing club, teaching this stuff, having fun, networking. Mark has a good, yeah. Any questions? Let me know. Mark has, is there a formula that you use to purchase a property 70% of value? So much for ARV. Yeah. So what I do, thank you for the feedback, Ray. I appreciate that. So Mark, real simple, and lenders, if you're on the call, I would listen to this as well. I think I have a slide about it. We've taught so much over the last 53 weeks on these free webinars. I've got slides on slides, but I gotta, okay, so here we go. Here we go. So here's the formula. We actually taught this a while back. So this is a quick formula that we use, and lenders, I recommend you using it as well to see if they actually got a good deal. So you can use this formula to see if a person got a good deal. And then this is a kind of a back of the napkin formula that real estate investors use when they're making their offers. All right. So let's see. Where can I sign up for the free account? You can go to privatemoneyclub.com, Tim. Privatemoneyclub.com. All right, cool. So here's the formula here. All right. So borrowers, how much should I offer? Lenders, did my real estate investor get a good deal? Is my money safe? So this is like 101 real estate. So some of you, I'm sure, have heard of this. Some, if you haven't, then this is great to learn. Okay. So what I'm going to do every time I make an offer on a property, I'm going to look at what the after repair value is. So after I fix it up, make it beautiful, what's the home going to be worth? Right? What's the home going to be worth? I'm going to take that number. I'm going to subtract it by 70, multiply it by 70%, 70%. And then I'm going to subtract my repair costs. Right? So if I'm looking at a house, I know once I make it beautiful again, it's going to be worth 300,000. I'm going to take 300,000 times it by 70%. That's going to give me a number of 210,000. If my repair costs are 50,000, then my maximum purchase price, I can't pay any more than this, is 160. Now, lenders, I recommend that you could go on Private Money Club right now and look at everyone's deals and see if what they're buying the properties for meets this formula. This is a good way for lenders to kind of figure out, okay, did the real estate investor pay too much? Right? So what I would consider this when I teach an accelerator class, the coaching program that we do for PMC, I teach this as if this is our business model. This is our buying criteria. So every single house that we buy, rental property, fix and flip, this is how I figure out how much I'm going to be paying for the property. This is what I call a very specific buying criteria. So whenever someone comes to me and they say, well, what if the market dips 5% or 10%, or what if you can't sell the house for 300 and you have to sell it for 290 or whatever, right? What I tell them, hey, well, Mr. and Mrs. Lender, this is why we have a very specific buying criteria that keeps you safe and keeps us safe. And this is the essence of it right here. It all starts with a little formula, making sure that we're always buying at a discount. If I'm going in higher price points, maybe I could come up on my percentage a little bit. Maybe I could go 72, 75, because it might be worth it for me to do that fix and flip if I'm still going to make 200,000, if it's a multi-million-dollar type of thing. The lower the price point, if I'm buying houses 100,000 price range, then that number has to be lower. I want like 60, 65% is what I'm multiplying the number by, because I want to make sure it's worth it, my time. You know, I don't want to spend 6 months flipping a house and make 10 grand. Like that's silly, right? So higher price points, maybe that percentage comes up. Lower price points, that percentage will probably come down, right? And that keeps us safe and keeps you safe, right? I would consider that our buying criteria or business model. And it's not so much, this is always a question people always ask, well, why 70%? It's not so much the 70%, it's the missing 30%. What makes up that missing 30%? Well, number one, the most important person in the whole world, the lender. I got to make sure I'm paying my lender. So think about this, guys. If a project takes an entire year and it's 12% interest, annualized interest, that's 12% right off the top, just going to the lender. And then on top of that, I have a real estate agent involved. She's making 6%, right? And then I have holding costs and things like this. So the very last little bit of that 30% is my profit. Everyone else gets paid first, with the lender being at the top of the list. So this is important. So lenders, when you're looking at deals and they're fix and flips and the interest rate is 18% or 20% or 25%, you really got to look at the deal and say, okay, is this just an absolute home run where this person is crazy for paying this much interest? Because if that real estate investor is following this 70% formula, there's no way that they could afford to pay 20% interest, especially if the project goes for the full term, if it goes for the full year. There's no money left over. How is this possible? That's a red flag, right? That's a red flag. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a no-go on the deal. Maybe the after repair value is absolutely through the roof, right? And there's tons of equity in the deal. I don't know. But the higher the interest, the dicier it gets, the thinner the profit margins get. And so that's why this is really important, right? So when you're talking to people and that you see a higher interest rate, it's really important that you're looking at the after repair values and making sure that they're providing comparable sales and things like this. And you're looking at the projects, the repair estimates, you're making sure those numbers are there for it to be a safe deal for you. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, guys. Great questions. Great questions. Maybe we go more in depth on this next week. Next week, I'll go more in depth on this if you come back and see us again. So we do this every single Thursday, 1 o'clock Eastern time, just like clockwork. And this is where we stay sharp. This is where we practice. This is where we get good at being the best lenders and the best borrowers that we could be. Again, make a move. I'm gonna put the make a move slide up here. Joseph, now's your time. If you got the links, post them. All right, cool. Right on cue. I love it. If you'd like to schedule a blueprint call with a team member here to see how PMC can help you, go ahead and do it. Create your profile. Hopefully we'll see you at the Money Tank in Dallas. I know people have been chomping at the bit for a live event. It's been a minute. There it is right there. There it is. So hopefully we'll see you there. So this has been an awesome call, guys. Let me make sure there's no more questions. Oh, Mark said where in Charlotte? Hang on, Mark. Let me look at my phone. Where in Charlotte? So yeah, so tonight I'm going to be in Charlotte hanging out. So if just so happen to be on the call, it's actually in Belmont. It's in Belmont. So let me see. There's a nice real estate investing group up there called the Build Group. And it's run by the Mazzonis, Bob and Deidre Mazzoni. And they are also PMC members, which is cool. So let's see. It's going to be at the Lodge Tavern and Tap, Belmont, North Carolina, 6 to 8. Hopefully we'll see you there. Do you send out recordings of this? They are somewhere, I don't know where. I think they're in private. I think they're in the Private Money Club platform. Like they make a post and they say, here's the link. You can go back and you can watch. So if you created your profile, Mark, and you logged in within the next 48 hours, maybe you'll be able to see something there for you. Yeah. Cool. All right. Awesome. All right. Thanks, Tim. Thanks for the feedback. All right. Hope you all have a great week. Have a great weekend. And I will see you next Thursday. All right. Take care, everybody. All right. Bye.